Hello and welcome to my channel, Inviting Possibilities Tarot. My name's Rochelle and I am doing the weekly reading for the collective. It is timeless. And remember that when you catch this, it's for the coming week for you. Putting some prosperity dust on the table. And I'm going to start by reading a quote from this little book called Think. Get my glasses. Trying provides two excuses: an excuse for not doing and an excuse for not having. Do or do not, there is no try. Isn't that Yoda? Interesting. Trying provides two excuses: excuse for not doing, excuse for not having. Okay, so seems like there's something that you potentially are trying but not putting a lot of effort into. It's like, yeah, it's kind of like, you know, 1 foot in, 1 foot out kind of feeling, because I don't know. I mean, it could be anything. So let me just put that aside. We'll come back to it. I'm going to get a couple of angel cards. This one, support. We have one angel giving another a boost over a wall. Respect. Two angels bowing to each other. Support and respect. Maybe if you're starting something new, or you're contemplating something new, you're trying something, maybe it's something that requires support in some way, in some form, from someone else or other people. Gaining the respect from people because of doing something as a team. I don't know. Let's just set those aside and dive into the wisdom of the oracle. Serendipity in reverse, number 18. Clean it up in reverse, 21. Buy the book in reverse, number 11. Let me just look at clean it up real quick. Is it possible you may be focusing too much on other people right now, trying too hard to be helpful? Does taking on what belongs to others make you feel needed or desired? Perhaps you think it's your calling to relieve people of their burdens, but what is the cost to you and to them? Don't clean up someone else's side of the street. You're not helping by freeing him or her of responsibility. You're also not doing yourself any favors, and you just might be adding an even greater strain. You don't need to be needed to be loved. So there's a situation here where it felt so right. everything everything aligned. It was like, the choir of angels, like, everything was perfect, and you were like, yes, this is what I was hoping for or praying for. This is or this is amazing. This I never thought this would happen, and here I am, and yay, like, all um can't think of the term, but yeah, basically, like, okay, everything's aligned and we're going forward. No holds barred, right? And then something happened, and I think it had something to do with whoever, like, you might have partnered up with somebody on something, and you were all gung-ho until you realized that they weren't pulling their weight, or they weren't doing this. Yeah, they weren't doing the things they said they were going to do. And for you, you're like, oh gosh, like, this is so close to being perfect. Well, if I just go ahead and pick up the slack, then that'll get us where we need to go. And maybe they'll, like, come along. They'll wake up. They will do the thing they said they were going to do. Maybe if they see me do it, then that will kind of, like, motivate them, right? And you decided to do it differently, to do it your way. I don't know. I'll pick more cards, and we'll get clearer on what's going on here. But it's like, it. So far, it seems like you had a plan with someone. They dropped the ball. So in, kind of picking up the slack, you were like, well, I'm going to do it the way that I think works better, or because I have to do it myself, I need to change my plan a little bit because I can't do it alone. And so you do something different off, you go off the beaten path. You're, like, kind of in this innovative energy, which makes me think that had this person not dropped the ball, you would have just stuck with your regular plan. But potentially here, you were meant to be like, okay, well, now that it's all in my hands, I need to try something different. And then you realize, oh, this actually works better. Let's keep going. I'm gonna go the Heart's Hidden Secrets. I guess what I'm not clear about is the outcome, because you trying something different could be where, I don't know, it doesn't feel bad. It feels like maybe you should have stepped back. Maybe you could have stepped back and let this person step up themselves, but by you taking the reins, it created some kind of new pathway or something. Commitment, marriage, promises, and fidelity. Fantasy, daydreaming, imagining, and fantasize. Return, second chance, opportunity, making amends. It's like you and somebody committed to each other, to a project, to something, but it was just based in fantasy. It wasn't there. it was a lot of daydreaming and like, oh yeah, this is a a great, it looks good on paper, or it's, it's like, makes me think of the many times I've been in situations where I, you know, come into connection with someone, and I've been all like up in my head about my fantasy of who this person is, and not paying attention to how they're actually showing up. And that feels like something happened here. It's like your fantasy versus reality, don't align here. And there's a second chance, or there's some kind of opportunity, because of this person not pulling their own weight, not showing up the way they promised or said they were going to. Could be maybe this person is apologizing. That's possible. Maybe they left and came back. Maybe they left you to pick up the pieces. Ooh, we've got some kitty confirmation there. But whatever happened here, it gave you the opportunity to try something on your own, to try something your way. And I think on your own. Maybe you're returning to something that you felt you had to leave behind. And then you were like, well, wait a second. Let me rethink this. So, okay. All right. Osha Zen Tarot. It's like the quote, like, this person was like, well, I tried, but it's an excuse. They weren't really committed. They were just talking. Courage. Leo energy. Innocence. Sagittarian energy. Integration. Okay, we have 3 major arcana here. So this is a big shift. This is a big, long-lasting shift. And this is wait, did I say? No, I'm sorry. This is the sun. This is Leo. So we have Leo twice. And then we have, this is Sagittarian energy. This is temperance. Very fiery. A lot of fire. A lot of inspiration here. This is, okay. So the first thing that I'm noticing is, in this image, we have 2 flowers. We have the bigger one and the smaller one, the little offshoot. And it's like you're in this connection, you are the more powerful of the 2, or you're more of the go-getter, you're the strong one. You have a tendency to carry both of you, or you have been. And doing something that is, it's like overcoming some kind of difficulty. These flowers are growing out of, the rocks, a place that is seemingly inhospitable. And yet, like, especially you, I feel like, is thriving here. You're like Yoda. You're like, do or do not. There is no try. And you don't even, it's almost like you don't even, that's what kind of feels like, is that's your motto, whether whether you consciously are aware of it or not. You're like, if something is important to me, if I am inspired, if I really want to get something, I go for it. And I don't let things deter me, even other people. But sometimes that can work against you, because if it's a team project, whatever that looks like, whatever you're committing to with someone else, you end up carrying the load, which isn't totally fair to you. But with this innocence here, it's like this is helping you to, let's see, there's something about, maybe you are getting advice from someone you consider wise and elder, or yeah, like somehow it's like you're explaining your situation. And there could be something around like getting back to your own innocence, who you used to be as a child when you were just kind of playing around, having fun, living in your fantasy, in your imagination. You're getting back to the core of something within yourself because of maybe realizing just how strong you are, and you're finding some kind of happiness or joy in the little things. You could be this wise one, and you're like, maybe you just have a very forgiving nature, a very kind heart, and you see how somebody is very different from you, and you're kind of like, you're letting that be okay, like where you're driven, somebody isn't as much. And rather than getting down on them, you're like, okay, well, maybe they have strength somewhere else. Maybe this was meant to happen because, I don't know, at the very least, it helped you to see how capable you are. And maybe they just have strengths in another area. Maybe, the I don't know, the things on the to-do list were divvied up, and they got some things that weren't so good at, but they were afraid to say something, or they were like, yeah, I can do this, and then they didn't. And so anyway, we have this integration energy, and this is like, it's taking all you've learned. It's being strong yet sweet and tender. It's knowing how resilient you are. It's, taking the tough times and the good times. It's kind of gracefully navigating your way through a situation that could have seemed insurmountable. It's interesting because where these flowers are growing up out of looks kind of like a stone wall, and we have the angel boosting the other one over it. Stonewall. Like, okay, maybe somebody stonewalled someone, stopped talking to him, completely started ignoring. Maybe this person ignored you, ignored your pleas for help, for assistance. But then you realize that you had it all within you. You didn't need their help. There's the integration of the dark, of the shadow, the light and the shadow. Having a bigger perspective. This is about being really connected to your higher self, to your higher power. This is a completion, a cycle that is closing. so a new one can begin. There's balance here. There's overcoming something, some difficulty, and realizing that you are thriving because of it. And this is you're creating some kind of balance by doing something your own way. Maybe a part of the integration has to do with you returning to the problem and being like, okay, I'm going to workshop this in a way that works for me. And integrating all of that. And it's kind of giving you this new insight, this boost. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go to the Moonology deck. Mediate, maybe. Meditate and contemplate. New moon in Pisces. Work through your fears. New moon in Scorpio. That one's been coming out more recently. Show the world the real you. Full moon in Aquarius. Okay. So it feels like kind of a big reason why the situation happened, why you were initially drawn to someone or to some kind of project, something like this, is because of it was meant for you to understand how fear holds you back. And this was something that was important enough, or you got it off the ground enough that you were like, okay, I got to keep this going. Even though I'm terrified of doing this by myself, I can't let this go. But doing it by yourself was your initial fear, possibly. Thing is, when you started out, maybe you were kind of letting the other person lead, letting them call the shots. But then when they weren't pulling their weight, when they weren't following through, you were like, okay, well, I got to do this. I got to figure out how to do this my way. And that helped you to, it's like doing it your way helped you to step out of the shadows. It's like you were in a support role, and now here you are in the leadership role. And you're like, okay, well, we need to innovate. We need to change things up. We need to do it so that I can master it. Keep saying we. I don't know. Maybe there's more people, or you're just kind of, maybe you're still thinking of this as a we, even though you've stepped. Oh yeah, maybe you've stepped into the leadership role out of necessity. Maybe there are people around you who are watching who have great respect for you, like stepping up. Because I'm looking over at this respect with the angels bowing. Environment 44. This is my new numerology deck. Communication 33. Effort 13. yeah, it's interesting because environment aligns with courage. So you have some kind of tough, things weren't just laid out for you. You had to grow up. You had to expand in ways you probably didn't even know you were capable of. The difficult environment allowed you to become more resilient. And then there's this communication here. Maybe this helped to teach you how to communicate more effectively. Maybe you're recognizing that there was a lack of communication when you first got started, and this has helped you to be more expressive, to be able to express yourself in a more effective way. And also, it's like communicating like this innocence. It's like innocence makes me think of like, something that's like childlike, like a certain mindset or way of showing up. Maybe you have a very childlike way of showing up, youthful, or there's something about how you're communicating that it's pleasing to you. It's making you happy. Maybe you're having some kind of communication with someone that is really they're telling you what you want to hear, or by like talking something through, whether with this person or someone else. You're recognizing that you've got what it takes to, by putting in the effort, you're integrating the whole experience. You recognize that doing what, you get exactly how, let's see, how do I say that? Like, you get out of something what you put in. You put in the effort, you're going to see some kind of results. And maybe, I don't know, maybe like when you started out in this scenario, you were like, oh, we'll see, we'll try, I don't know. And then because of it falling apart, or something, suddenly it's all landed in your lap, you're like, well, do I want this enough? Yes, I think I do, actually. I'm going to put in the effort. I am going to do the thing so I can have the thing, so I can ultimately have some kind of success. But it's like the success isn't necessarily a material thing. The success could be just you understanding how capable you actually are. But there's I don't know, there's some kind of, it's like, if you just keep going, you're gonna eventually get to what you want. So let me get some cards from the Oracle Tarot. Caring for yourself. 8 of Swords. Healing and second chance. 10 of Swords. We have second chance twice. You're closing out a cycle so you can begin something new. Yeah, because we have the snake eating its tail, the Ouroboros. This is helping you to care for yourself, or it's helping you understand that self-care is an important component to being successful, to being able to overcome some kind of difficulty. And then we have status surge. Ace of Wands. Yeah, see, you're closing something out, you get a second chance, and you're rising up because of self-care, because of recognizing your your own worth, your own abilities. Um, you're rising up. You're so strong. You're so powerful, you're so inspired. You've got the status surge. You've got the attention, the respect of others because of figuring out how to do something different. Do it in your own way, with your own spin to it. Interesting too. I said that and then I immediately looked down and she's spinning. She's like a ballerina. And her little dress tutu is like spinning around, her hair spinning around, taking a couple of swords after some kind of difficulty. Could be a betrayal, could feel like a one, but then it's like being like, I can overcome this. I can rise up. I can heal from the difficulty. And then you drop a sword because you're like, I don't need two swords. I need one hand to be able to, I don't know, it's like hold the sword and shake hands. I'm either going to cut you out or I'm going to invite you in. But you know, like power, strength, um, being very capable. It's really cool. Let's go to the Magic of You Oracle. Avenoir. Make peace with your past. And this is also number one. Status surge. Making peace with your past. You're overcoming whatever difficulties. Where you lost power, where you gave your power away, thinking someone else had the answers, but then you were forced. What is that? Can't fully tell what's going on. Something in her solar plexus. I see almost like a rat's head. Oh, bees? That does look like a rat's head. And then there are bees making honey. I personally love rats, but I'm thinking of like, you know, like sometimes a, you know, derogatory term for a person is like a rat. And this rat looks a little bit like sinister, or yeah, like it's hard to tell though. It's not it's like the head of a rat as a stopper on top of a bottle of honey. Anyway, if you feel like you were dealing with a rat, someone that you felt was sly, cunning, underhanded, not doing the thing they said they were going to do, um, just in it for themselves, you somehow, you're taking that lesson, you're integrating it, and you're milking it. You're not exactly. I mean, it, you know, I'm thinking of like you're turning something that was sour into something that was sweet or is sweet. You're extracting the good the good juices. I'm trying to explain honey. It's like you're you're overcoming a difficulty. You're taking your power back. You're turning something that was difficult into something that it's like you took the head of the rat and you used it to cork up the honey. It's like a, you know, almost like a totem or something. You're like I'm gonna keep the head of the rat to remind me of what what I can actually do, what I overcame in the past, and this is a reminder of what I can continue to overcome. To, you know, as long as I keep putting in the effort, as long as I keep doing the thing. So you're taking, that's a part of taking your power back. Yeah. Translucence. Love the darkness. 33. Which, communication, also 33. You're learning how to more effectively communicate. You're learning how communication, like how important it is, and how communication sometimes is necessary to express disappointment, you know, certain kinds of feelings that I feel like in this case, feelings that were pushed down, pushed aside, you're learning, it's like you're tapping into the darkness of yourself. You're doing the shadow work that's a part of the integration. And you're maybe communicating, maybe you're speaking your story, you're sharing it with others, or you're telling this person like how exactly they affected you, and not worrying about hurting anyone's feelings. You're just like, this is what it is. Let's see, let me get one more. Love the darkness. It's like okay, so then there's also the understanding that like a seed needs the darkness, needs the dark and a little bit damp and wet in order to grow, right? In order to sprout. So you're understanding, maybe you've taken some time, because you've been meditating and contemplating, you've been going within, into the darkness within, meaning that the intuitive part of yourself. And if you've been doing the shadow work, you're kind of like allying yourself with parts that you had forsaken before, you know, or somehow pushed aside in favor of someone else taking the lead. And now you're just, it's like it's all culminating into you stepping up into your power and taking the lead because of this work that you've been doing. You've been working through your fears. Hex. Be still and allow the enemy to reveal themselves. 12. 21. Both of these break down to a 3. It's like you let this person, at first you were like, okay, you lead the way. But then they didn't. They dropped the ball. They revealed themselves to you. And you were left with a choice point, and you meditated on it, and you were like, I can do this. I do not actually need this person to be successful, to step into my power. In fact, not having them is what spurred you into that place. And then knowing how to put in effort. Look at these colors are very similar. It's using your happiness. It's using your ability to create stability. Ability is in the word stability. You have learned how to stand tall, and you're gaining the respect from others because of doing something new and different. You're getting a second chance at something here. so interesting because one of my favorite readers, San Tarot, I had no idea. She showed up in my feed this morning and I was like, oh, where's she been? Huh? Okay, cool. So I start listening and she's like, yeah, since my channel was terminated. And I'm like, what? Terminated? But she goes on to do the reading. And so then I had to do a little bit of like looking into it. And apparently she she posted something on her channel that YouTube deemed inappropriate and they completely shut her down. Just like that. She'd never had any issues before, and all of a sudden, channel's just gone. And then she tried to appeal it and couldn't get through. It's all like, there's no like talking to actual people. And she tried a workaround, and that didn't work either. And she's like, okay, well, I guess I just have to like change my channel name. And I mean, it's so ridiculous. But anyway, this feels kind of like her story. It's like, doing something and then realizing that even though she's put in thousands of hours and, had a huge following and all this, like YouTube just totally screwed her, like in the worst way. And so she's like figuring out how to go around it, and she's rising up again. I feel like this is probably something that is going to be happening in the collective on a pretty grand scale as we see things kind of play out in our world. We see people in power who are making decisions that we don't agree on, and we're like, maybe this is a call to action for a lot of people. Maybe I can do something that's actually going to make a difference, at least in my little world. And then that creates a ripple effect. I don't know. There's something like this. So I need to close this out. Is there anything else? Let me just get some cards from the Gateway of Light activation. Going a little bit longer. That's okay. Star Being Healing Codes. Important information. Wounds are healed. Recharging. Wounds are healed. This is where was that? Make peace with your past. There was maybe it was the healing and second chance, caring for yourself. I thought there was something about wounds somewhere. Anyway, it's fine. Doesn't matter. You're coming out on top, ahead of the pack. You're getting some kind of important information because of this meditation and contemplation, this going within. And then you're healing the wounds from the past, making peace with your past, and then recharging, like status surge. It's like you're charging yourself up. Soul star activation, fulfilling soul contracts, remembering who you are. Remembering who you are. Somehow you were giving away your power before. Somehow, and remembering who you are, you're realizing just how powerful you have been this whole time. Claiming that power. Fulfilling a soul contract in order to help you elevate, to truly see yourself in all your glory. Chamber of the Violet Flame, karmic release, radical transformation. Yeah, karmic release, closing out a cycle, healing, second chances, radical transformation. You are transforming from the inside out, the outside in, upside down, inside out. Like it's all this is where you're gaining all this respect. And I think you're getting a lot of support from community, from people around you. not necessarily from this person, but you're not concerned. You're healing the past. And you're like, well, they did the best they could with what they had in the moment. It was less than I hoped or expected, but that was what caused me to take the reins and to stand tall and to recognize my own strength ultimately. Yeah. All right, let me finish with a chakra card. Throat chakra. Yep. Space. Yep. Communication. Communication. All right. I have all the space that I need to flourish, grow, and express myself. I take up my space in all areas of my life. The space around me is clear, and I continue to cleanse and make sacred my space. I have space. I feel like you, in the past, you felt like you were trying to not take up a lot of space. You wanted to leave the space open for others. And now you're recognizing, like, because you are in this more leadership mindset, you're like, I'm going to take up all the space that I need. This is about showing the world the real you, claiming your power, and making honey out of something that was very difficult. Turning vinegar into honey, something like this. You're clearing the space. You may be clearing your physical space, and you're cleansing, you're treating your body, your mind, your emotions, your soul, like everything as sacred. This is because of making your space sacred, recognizing your own sacredness. You're rising up and up and up, and you're gaining more and more respect from those around you because of so gracefully navigating a tough situation. So, all right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and week, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you on the next video. Mwah.